What's up, friends? Welcome back to another episode. We're on number 8 now. So, welcome. Let's get into it right off the bat. Today is Saturday, October 7th. 4 o'clock right now, pretty much on the dot. So, I think I filmed one last weekend. I'm pretty sure I did. I think I did number 7 last weekend, but yeah, we're into October now. I've done, this is number 8 now, so these are kind of all blending together for me now. I'm definitely cranking them out every weekend, so sometimes I can't really remember which number I'm exactly on or when I've done them, but anyways, regardless of that, so unfortunately, it is, again, a pretty overcast weekend, just like kind of like last weekend, and it is now cold as hell. Temps have dropped into the 50s. Excuse me. Temps have definitely dropped, so it's like I think the lows are getting down to the 40s at night now, so definitely starting to feel like fall. But yeah, for today's episode, it's 4 o'clock, and I checked, the sun is now setting at 6:35, so I don't have too much time, but I was kind of busy earlier today, so gonna try and just hit a little walk in a residential area pretty close to here. There's just like a little walkway. There's a little walkway that I saw a while back that I just kind of want to check out, and yeah, probably just walk around the little residential area and see if I can spot some kind of cool trees, or just some cool scenes along the way there. The sun is kind of popping in and out today, so hopefully, as it gets closer to sunset, maybe it'll pop out a little bit more, which would be nice. Because I really haven't last weekend, the little walk we did for 7, I didn't really get too much on that because it was so overcast. But whatever. I think I'm going to go out tomorrow as well, so we'll see. But honestly, it's looking pretty cloudy all weekend, so is what it is, though. Just got to work with it. So I would definitely want to get out there as much as I can right now. Excuse me, before the leaves drop. And then I've got definitely just a ton of backlog of photos to edit for you guys. So, Jesus, excuse me, I'm burping. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say. People are definitely putting their Halloween decorations out. I've seen some gnarly front yards. People are crazy. It's awesome. I love it. I love seeing that stuff. I've just driving around here. I've seen some pretty big inflatables and just cool. Some guy put 2 pallets down and put fake hands reaching up out of the pallets, so it looks like people are trapped under there. It's pretty cool. I like the creativity. So, anyways, let's just get into it, guys. Hope you enjoy. I'll try, depending on what I see. I'll try and get some cool field footage. But, I'm just going to walk around, basically, little kind of neighborhood area. So, we'll see what I get. But, hope you guys enjoy. Let's get it. All right. What's up, guys? So, I am out here in the neighborhood. Just came up this little trail right here. So my truck is parked down there. I didn't walk up the trail too far, and I saw this little park here, and there's a really big, I think this is a hemlock tree. But it's really big, really old, and it's got some, let me turn up the, very nice kind of leaves turning here, so I'll flip the camera so you guys can take a look around, but I'll probably stick around here for a bit. I've already taken quite a few shots just through the leaves there. Looks pretty cool. So let me flip the camera around. Nice little park. This tree is massive. I mean, as you guys can see, it's huge, very old. Looks cool. So probably gonna stick around here for a bit, and then the trail kind of just goes around and loops into the city, or not the city, but it's just a little suburb area. So gonna stick here for a bit, take some pics, and then we'll roll out. Check this out, guys. Nice little baseball field here, and a nice array of old colonial homes, it looks like. Interesting. Looks kind of cool though. Just walking along here. I've walked quite a bit up this sidewalk. I haven't really seen too much. Again, it's very overcast. I'm trying to keep my eyes out for something, but we'll just keep trucking along here. All right, friends. Well, that supposedly that hemlock tree that I saw was pretty much the only stop along this little walk here that I took. It's about 5:20 p.m. right now, so it's out here for about an hour, but kind of just unfortunate. It's just I just wasn't not seeing a whole lot of, you know, trees that were looking like they were turning a lot, and it's so overcast right now. The lighting is just, I mean, there is none. So I'm not really working with much. This is kind of unfortunate, but I didn't spend too much time out here, but I just feel like there wasn't really a point in going any further. It could be the area too. I mean, I just was not seeing any like good prospects for scenes and stuff. So no big deal. I think what I'm gonna do is go out tomorrow and just we'll just cut straight to the field footage. So it'll be tomorrow, Sunday. So yeah, this will be a little 2-day in one, just because I think that, I mean, those photos back there at that tree turned out really good. That was like a really nice spot that I think I got some cool shots over there, but everything else around here is just kind of bland, you know. There wasn't really a whole lot of that it factor, I guess. I just wasn't seeing it. So sometimes you'll just have those kind of days, or you'll be at places where it's just, you know, not really ideal, but is what it is. So what I'll do is go tomorrow. We'll just cut right to that pretty much right now. So I am going to pack up right now, go have dinner, go to bed, but you guys will just see an immediate cut to. So yeah, and I think tomorrow will probably, I want to go out in town, and I think I also want to go hiking as well. So tomorrow might be a long day. We'll see. But cut to that right now. All right. What's up, friends? We're back. It is Sunday. Much nicer out, as you can see. Yeah, yesterday was shit. I mean, I got a couple good shots, but literally it was just terrible, terrible weather, overcast, and not a great area for shooting, but whatever. We're right now we're in the city, kind of in the center of it, but I just parked over there, and driving here I saw a few good kind of stopping points. I think there's like a maple tree that was looking pretty good a few blocks down from here, so probably gonna hit that and then just kind of walk around here, see what I can see. So stick around. Okay, I should be able to see the red maple tree down there. That's where I'm headed right now. Beautiful day out today, though. So yeah, that's pretty nice tree right there, man. So I'm gonna sneak up on it and try and grab some shots. All right, got some pretty nice shots. That tree right there. I walked down this sidewalk behind me and just kind of looked around for some cool shots here. Came away with some good ones. So we'll go back to where we kind of started. I just saw that tree kind of driving down this road. Those clouds look pretty crazy in the video, but yeah, I hung around there for 5 minutes or so. Got some decent shots. You guys will probably see. So, good way to start off this little walk. But we'll trek back kind of where we came, and then yeah, start heading kind of. I think we're gonna go towards this little park that I know of, but kind of along the way here I was getting some shots too of just kind of some houses and trees and stuff. The lighting is really nice today, so it's kind of some cool lighting here. Lots of shadows. These old growth trees. Beautiful day out. Super quiet out here. It's like barely anybody out walking around. Probably watching the Packer game. Oh yes. Got a nice vertical shot of this. I really like the red on the red house, red trim. Looking beautiful. Man, what a day. I was feeling like crap this morning, but I should have mentioned the time. It's probably like 2:30 right now, but I got out here at like 1:30. So this is ideal fall day though. I feel like in the fall, a lot of the times the lighting just kind of always looks like it's like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. It's just kind of always that evening, afternoon light kind of look, which is dope for photography. So I saw this other maple up here, literally just a block over. So we'll check this out. Looking pretty nice. All right, don't mind the dogs barking, but we're coming up on the park, that little park. Damn, nice Tesla right there. Anyways, coming up on the park I was talking about. So I've probably walked 10 blocks, something like that. 10, 12 blocks. What was I gonna say? I didn't stop at that other maple tree that you guys just saw in the other clip. Wasn't really seeing anything, seeing any frames or anything. But man, what a gorgeous day. All the squirrels I've been seeing around here too, fat as hell. These squirrels are fattening up, man. But let me flip the camera, you guys can see what I'm looking at. So this area, it's known for its very historic and large houses. They call it castles on Cass Street. But there's the park I was talking about. So I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go now. Need to figure that out. But there's some pretty cool houses and stuff over there. But we'll check it out. I think I might go down this sidewalk. I'm just basically just looking for bright colored leaves at this point. I kind of see it down there, so I'll check it out. All right, guys, I want to show you a pretty rare tree, special tree, right here. So this is an ornamental tree, and it's called a ginkgo, and it's really cool looking. The leaves are really yellow right now, and they have really cool leaf structure as well. But just want to show you that quick. I got a nice shot of that, so pretty cool. That is so beautiful. And this is what we're looking for right here. Absolutely gorgeous. I got a really nice vertical photo capturing that whole tree there. Oh my goodness. Man, I gotta say, I'm absolutely on a roll right now in terms of tree sightings and photos. Holy cow, guys. This is golden area right here. So, we got another one right here as well. You guys can see another maple over there with the castle looking turret. It's pretty cool. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of old kind of colonial looking historical homes around here. Pretty cool looking. I like the way these homes look. Brick, probably real sturdy, but really big house over here too. Holy shit. It brings up a good kind of talking point though with photos. Like sometimes I'll literally wind up at a spot or see a little frame that I want to take a photo, and if the house is absurdly nice and it's fancy and everything, sometimes it just breaks the photo. It doesn't, I don't know, for some reason I more prefer kind of rugged looking homes that make the photos, and I prefer kind of having a rugged look to my photography. So having really fancy homes, it kind of hinders on it a little bit. So just something worth saying, I guess. So I'm starting my trek back here, guys. Walked a pretty decent way. It's 3 o'clock right now, and I am starving. I have had like 3 bites of a sandwich today. Kind of rough. I'm way behind on my food. My stomach was just killing me this morning. So, but man, it's hot in the sun. Oh Jesus! It's like high today is like 55. It's perfect, but the sun is a little hot. Anyways, yeah, I got to pretty much the end of the line there in terms of what I know is like, or in terms of where I wanted to go for the area of the shoot. So, decent ways back to walk, and then I'm probably gonna grab some Jimmy John's. Holy shit. That sounds good. I'm kind of dying right now. So, but very happy with the stops we made. We as in me and you as the viewer. Sometimes I'll say that, like we, and I'm just referring to like you and me as the viewer. All right, friends, so I am almost back to the truck. I didn't really take any video on the walk back here, just because I didn't stop. I didn't really stop for too much. I'm hungry, so I wanted to get back kind of quick. But I'm not sure. It's like 3 o'clock, 3:30 right now. So definitely gonna grab some lunch, and then I'm not sure if I'll go out and do like a little hike later today. I'll probably just end up hanging out and chilling. So, but if I do, I'll try and get some video for you guys. If not, we'll just cut to the editing. So, this is a nice little walk though. Definitely came away with some good shots. So, for sure, happy about it. But you guys need to get outside as well. Go for a little walk or a run or something. But hope you guys enjoyed. Stick around for the editing, and I'll see you back at the crib. What's up, everybody? Hello. Welcome to editing for episode 8. Welcome to the studio. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that field footage. I had a damn good time doing that little photo shoot there. That was fun. Getting in town there on that sunny day was just really nice, and the trees were looking really good. I was coming away with, honestly, a lot of good shots. It was kind of hard to decide which ones I wanted to look at and film on camera for editing, but I got 2 narrowed down. So, but hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are sticking with me. So, let's see. Do I have anything to talk about before we get into this? I mean, I guess, honestly, that was, like, that photo shoot on that day was a pretty ideal, I would say that's just, like, a pretty ideal fall day in Wisconsin for just getting outside and doing whatever, especially for taking photos. At least it was very ideal. It's that type of thing where it's, cloudy enough but sunny enough at the same time, where it's just you can kind of get or mess around with exposure and get really kind of cool lighting in your photos. And yeah, I mean, I think with that, like, it also creates cool shadows. Like I've said probably a few times now, but a lot of times in like the the fall season going into winter, it kind of always looks like it's evening. Like the lighting looks kind of dim, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, so that was a very ideal day. ideal conditions. So, yeah, not much else to say. That was definitely a good photo shoot. Walked a good kind of ways around the neighborhood there. So, yeah, let's just get into it without, messing around anymore. I do have 2 photos kind of picked out, so maybe we can get to both of them, depending on how quick I go. So let's hop onto my screen here, and you guys will see the first photo we're doing. But before I discuss that, let's just kind of review the day here. So yeah, I mean, I kind of forgot about this, but Saturday. So yeah, I went out Saturday. My fucking cat is around here somewhere, but I went out Saturday and just tried to get out a little bit. Ended up not getting much at all. Just this one little stop here at this very big tree. But I honestly I really, I enjoyed stopping here and getting these photos. I thought, if I do something in post editing with these, they could turn out pretty cool. I think I got some decent frames here, but it was just so overcast. Like there wasn't great lighting and not too much to look at on this little shoot. So this was getting into Sunday. You can tell obviously because there's sunlight. But really cool kind of just neighborhood scenes. This is that first photo we'll take a look at. I got a really kind of just nice overall shots of the location. And I'd suggest doing that, if you're into photography and you're out taking pictures, like really try and wherever you're going, like try and work around the location, like try and look for different shots. I always, I don't try and get caught up on like one angle a lot of the times. Like I'll be looking for different angles, different frames of probably like the same scene. I'll be looking for different angles and frames and such. I really like this one of that ginkgo tree. That was cool. Yeah, and just cruising through. A really nice shot here of those yellows, the yellow maple and the yellow house. That was beautiful. And then kind of just on the walk back, I believe now, just snagging a couple. So yeah, that was a good day. So yeah, that the other photo that I kind of chose out of those was this one. We can kind of go back to it here, actually. I really thought this photo was pretty damn cool. With the red siding on this house kind of mixed with the maple tree here turning red and yellow. It just made a really good, I think, contrast. The picture kind of had a nice flow to it. So I just picked out that other one. I was really debating between that one and kind of this guy. The yellows, in this one just go crazy. It's very, very golden, and that's kind of a very nice looking house. It looks just a very cool setting. Everything kind of works together in this. But so in terms of these photos, I've already cropped them. You guys can see. So this is the original one that I was looking at. So gave it a 5x7 crop on this. Already did the sharpening as well, so you guys won't see me do any sharpening. I'm just trying to find ways to kind of speed these up. But I pretty much just sharpened up the siding on the house here, and a bit of the tree and the leaves. And then this guy I cropped down quite a bit to like 4x6. I didn't think it was necessary to have all of the top part of this photo. It does kind of complete it, but, it's kind of just empty space. just kind of leaves on the tree. So that's not the top part of this photograph isn't the main subject. It's kind of near the lower half in the middle with the tree going on there in the house. So gave that a pretty hefty crop, and then obviously I sharpened this one as well. Just kind of did the house there, a little bit on the cars, siding, and some of the leaves. Just sharpen it up. You guys, I think those are just good things to knock out. I don't really need to include those editing bits on the actual video. I don't think, obviously it's kind of interesting seeing me take the paintbrush sharpening tool and kind of just draw around, but it doesn't take that long, and it's just easy to get it done with right away. So let's hop into this guy here. I really like this photo. It just has a lot of nice flow to it. This maple tree the leaves are half fallen off on this. It just has a really cool look, You're looking through the tree, and it's beautiful. And then you can see here what I'm talking about with this type of lighting. This is unedited, obviously. No, we haven't touched the curves or the exposure yet, but you can see the shadows are just pretty crazy, very kind of dimly lit, so it's got that spooky effect. You can see these people are Packer fans, of course. Packer mailbox. Pretty awesome. So let's get into the curves here. We'll mess around with the exposure a bit, or not. I'm going to talk about not the exposure, the curves. I want to delete that layer. Okay. So curves. And with this one, there is a lot of white. There's a lot of white coloring going on in this photo. White clouds, white siding on all these houses. So I'm not going to really touch the top marker here of maybe just a little bit. That does actually bring up, but you see, as soon as I bring up this slider bar on the curves on the top part, it immediately starts to overexpose the sky. And you can see it there. You can see it just, there's no kind of depth within the sky anymore once I bring that up a lot. So I want to be pretty careful. I'll just do a little tiny bit like that. Just barely anything. But I do want to bring up the highlights still. I want to make, the colors in this pop more, especially the reds on this maple tree here. And also just bring up the highlights in this photo overall. But with that, when you're bringing up highlights and especially in this type of thing, in this type of photo, I want to maintain the contrast. And it does get difficult, I would say, with this type of raw photo. There's just a lot of different types of lighting I'm working with here, shadows and the sky, and there's no direct sunlight in this, but there's a lot that could go wrong if I'm not careful, I guess, is the point with these curves here. Definitely want to bring up the highlights, but want to maintain the kind of spooky contrast. That looks crazy. Bringing on the contrast way, way dark. Just kind of experimenting here a little bit with this. But again, I don't want to go crazy with these photos when I tend to find the more obviously the more edits you put into the photo, the less. Damn it! I just undid everything. I just undid all of my freaking edits on that curves. I hate how they literally put the reset, the reset changes button right next to the kind of toggle the viewer. So like there's a button to toggle on and off your edits, and they put the like reset edits button right next to that, which doesn't make any sense to me. That is terrible user interface design by Photoshop. Because I'm always clicking like the toggle on and off to view my edits, because I want to see what I'm basically seeing my changes, like the changes I'm making. And I have the discard or reset button right there. It's just so stupid. I've done that plenty of times where I spend like quite a bit of time doing the adjustments, and then I just hit, reset. Try again. Patience is a virtue, I suppose. All right. Yeah, like I definitely want these oranges and reds to pop a lot more. But it's overblowing the sky. Like it's a little bit. Like honestly, right here looks pretty damn good where it's at. A little more maybe. And I was thinking about this earlier actually before I started recording, but I do prefer editing photos at night, during the nighttime. Just because, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just a preference thing, but I don't like when there's like sunlight or glare coming through the window. It just kind of throws me off. Even though I have a light on in my room, so you guys can like see me make this video. But I just prefer editing at night, just to kind of have no light coming in from outside that can hit my computer and kind of mess with the brightness of things. So maybe just a little tip there. Do I want to do much else to this? I'm kind of getting a little bit crazy with the contrast. But it looks pretty good still. Like I'm not going too crazy with it that it's darkening all the edges. Well, let's see. I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Don't have any up top. This guy got overexposed a little bit through those edits, but I think that really brings out the color of the maple tree. And also just kind of the contrast of the houses and the shadows and such. So we'll leave that as is. That's pretty damn good, I think. So with that, let's mess with the hue saturation. Obviously, want to bring this up. We want to saturate stuff. Bring the baseline, the master, up to an 8. And then we'll bring the greens down to an 8. Because I don't want the greens to be saturated at all. We don't need any more green. Because it is fall. And then I'm going to individually hit So like in the hue saturation tool, you can click through specific colors or like just the overall master. So I'm going to individually go to the reds, bump it up to like 4, also the yellows. And you can see with that, I mean, you can see that like visually, you can really see that pop when I'm clicking that on and off. So makes it a lot more bold, which we want. We want, you know, the fall colors are obviously the main theme of this little photograph series, and it's obviously the main theme of what I enjoy taking pictures of. Overall, you know, I would say these types of photos are by far my most favorite types of photos to take throughout the entire year. If I could pick any time of the year to take photos, or area, location, generally wise, you know, this is pretty ideal, I would say. Fall, October, oh yeah. So, winter photos. My cat just like coughed. Winter photos can be pretty cool. Besides the fact that there is barely any light. But that's kind of the point. I mean, that's what makes winter photos kind of cool, is you can go crazy dark, like exposure with stuff, and just get insane, like otherworldly looking photos, but it's winter, so, you know, I'm out there walking around in 0 degrees with my little camera. So we'll see how that goes with field footage this year. And then, yeah, I mean, spring and summer, probably least favorite. Well, no, I take that back. I mean, fall's my favorite. I don't know which is second, but spring and summer, I mean, spring is just kind of like, it's not really, like, I would say I don't generally, that's when I do my least amount of taking photos, is in the spring. It's just not something that I generally, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I definitely go out and take photos in the spring. I don't not, but I would say there's just like not a lot going on in terms of outside. Like, everything's just muddy and wet. The leaves aren't coming out yet, really. The leaves don't really start coming out till like May. And then it's already summer by that point. So let's go into Lightroom Classic here. Good old Lightroom Classic. Turn that volume up a little bit. All right. As always here, let's bring up the temperature into the more yellow hue. I've been going pretty crazy with this temperature lately. I don't need to go too crazy on it with this one, because there's already kind of a yellowish tint with all these kind of red leaves and stuff. Bring up the clarity a little bit, which is just that kind of sharpness of the photo. Kind of just makes things more clear. We'll do just 2. And then let's add a little bit of, oops, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do a radial gradient. And I just want to expose the tree and the house here. Excuse me. I want to expose the tree and the house here a little bit more, because that's our main subject. I'm not gonna expose the top, because that's going into the sky, going into the skyline there. So I'll just kind of do the bottom half here. This is a little bit too wide. When I was taking this photo, though, I will say, I was at this little, and this is something to keep in mind if you guys are kind of taking photos in the city or doing like street photography. Like, you definitely want to have some haste when you're doing stuff like this. You want to have some, you want to have some rush to it. I think I've mentioned this in the field, but like, you don't want to just be like sitting in front of somebody's house taking a bunch of pictures. I would say the best, at least this is what I do. Like, usually if I see a good shot and, I'm doing street photography, I'll usually, scope it out a pretty good bit, or try to, before, I'm there. Like, if I see it in the distance, I'll try and plan it out a little bit as I'm walking up to it, like I did with this one. I kind of saw this down the road, and then I was already thinking about the shot before I got to the location, right? So you want to be thinking about the shot that you want before you get to the location, and this is all in the idea of making the actual shots you're taking like quick, and you're able to get out of there in a reasonable time with coming away with the shot you wanted. So try and like have an idea of what you want to get, what angle you're looking for, and then also I'd recommend just kind of like walking past your frame of mind, like the frame you have in mind for the shot. Like, walk past the location, do a little kind of like a walk by, but make it subtle. Just like I was just walking down the sidewalk here. I can be very subtle with this stuff, and people don't, I think in my career of taking photos, in my whole career of taking photos, in public and doing whatever, I've gotten yelled at for doing it. Like, I can count on probably one hand the number of times I've gotten like yelled at by somebody who's just, wondering what I'm doing, or like pissed off at me for some reason. It's pretty rare. It's a pretty rare occurrence. But if it does happen to you, you will learn very quickly, like, what not to do. And over time, I guess you kind of just develop a bit of a skill for it. Like, obviously, the more you do it, I'd say the easier it is to kind of I don't know what the right word is, I guess accurately pick out your shot and get it, quick. Point is, if you're doing street photography, don't invade people's privacy. Like, do your thing. You can take pictures and stuff. If you're just on the sidewalk or in the street, like you're in public property, you're totally allowed to do that. But you don't want to be like fucking around. You want to be respectful. I try and be as respectful as possible when doing this type of stuff. I try and, if I can go by and get my shot without anybody seeing me and without anybody knowing, that's perfect. I want to be as sneaky as possible, pretty much. I'm going to take this down a little bit. I'm just giving a little bit more exposure on the house here. Nothing crazy. This is pretty much done, though. this is pretty much done. Basically just kind of giving some extra little touches here. Nothing too wild. I'd say that's pretty good. Honestly, I wonder if I could select the sky. I'm just going to try selecting the sky here for an exposure tool. I don't know how well it's going to do. This is like automatically generated. Yeah, well, let's see. I just want to see if I can bring down the exposure of the sky a bit. Not that much. I just want to see what the mask captured. The trouble is when it does this, it can kind of lock in the trees as well, but it looks like it did a really good job of doing it here. So I'm going to bring down the sky exposure so you can actually kind of see more of it, of the contrast like in the clouds there. If you can kind of see, but you can obviously see the change. So it's about like, you know, at least photography a lot of the times it's just about kind of changing and manipulating the lights and the darks. That's pretty much all it is. Unless you're doing like crazy, you know, CGI stuff or like, you know, crazy stuff like that. If you're working in like I would say like the real world photography stuff, and you're not bringing in like generative or like, I don't know, like I don't even know how to describe it. You're not bringing in like all these like crazy edits. It's mostly just about manipulating like lights and darks, and a lot of the times all it is just bringing up the highlights and, you know, bringing down the contrast. Nothing crazy, pretty simple. So that is done. Photo 1 is done. Half hour exactly on the dot right now. I mean, it'll be cut off a little bit because I hit record and then I have to like hit record on like I have to hit record on like 3 different things, cut it all together, so it's a little bit less than a half hour, but whatever, man. Corner for. We'll take a look at that other one. The other photo as well. I'm gonna do 2 in this. Real quick, though, before we do that, let's take a look at the before and the after. Oop, no. There we go. So, before, after. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I was going for. And you can see with that edit that last edit we did on the sky, it really, with that edit, that really worked well, because you can see in the before picture, check out the sky, then look at the sky here. It's almost the same, right? It's almost the same. So just doing that select kind of that automatic like select sky filter, and then messing with the exposure there, bringing it back down after we did all those touch-ups and highlights. Perfect, because I wanted to keep the contrast of the sky in that, but at the same time bring out, you know, the upper end of those colors. So that worked out really well. Super happy with that one. So let's go into this guy. Red on red. Get a little drink here. Jesus. Ugh. All right. So with this guy, I think this is a cool photo too. I mean, not as busy as the last one. I think this one has like, it's a little bit more simple in its layout. Jesus. Excuse me. But I don't even know what I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought. Whatever. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Again, I hate how Photoshop automatically blurs this as I zoom out. Like, I have to be zoomed in like this to see it in focus. Jesus, dude. I think the air has been really dry lately around here. I don't know. I need to get a humidifier. Especially coming into winter here. It's going to get bad. Really bad. Air gets so goddamn dry. Oh my fucking god. It's terrible. Okay, so you see in this one, this is a completely different style of curve editing here. Because we have there is like no bright whites. I could bring this thing way up. Way up on the top end of the spectrum. And, it wouldn't look too crazy. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bring it up a tad bit for sure. Because I want those whites to be bold. I want this thing to, jump. Or I want the bright colors to jump out at you. But I'm not going to go so crazy with it that it's like blaring. So since this photo is so bright, and I knew this off the bat, I am going to give this thing some major contrast. Major. Maybe not that much on the bottom end, but this thing needs to be shadowed out. Like, there is a lot of brightness. A lot of brightness to this photo. Now, the trouble is, how do we go about doing that, right? How? How do we go about doing that? Well, we need to find a happy in-between between the upper and the lower end of these curves. Right? Since we're going to be pulling the contrast down, and the trouble is also, like, the more you pull the contrast down, you just lose, like, detail. You lose detail in the shadows and stuff. Like, it just gets darker and darker and darker. You can't really see much. But if you do it to a certain extent, it can look pretty cool. So, we'll see. I mean, I don't know how well, I don't really, like, I have an idea for how I want this to look. I think maybe a vignette. We could maybe do a vignette on this for the mask in Lightroom Classic. That could maybe look badass on this fucker. Down. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty cool. I mean, I rarely bring down. See, this photo is almost opposite, exactly opposite. I mean, not totally opposite, but of the last one we did. Because I would say it's the brightness in this photo that I'm trying to, like, control. I was trying to manage more of the darkness in the other photo that we just saw. I was trying to manage more of the shadows because it was easy for me to bring up the highlights. It was easy for me to bring up those highlights in the last photo and manipulate them. It was in the last photo, it took me more effort to kind of keep the shadows and the darks in check, in the skyline and everything. Whereas in this, I'm kind of struggling here to keep the brightness values in check because this thing is just so blaring. And it's pissing me off. Not really, but it can get a little bit weird. I mean, like, at a certain point, I would say like at a certain point you'll be editing a photo, so like at a certain point you kind of just know, I would say, and the more you edit photos and do photography, like the more you'll get a feeling for this. But I would say there's a certain point where I've done so many edits or manipulated this stuff so much where I'm just like, okay, I've seen this in all of the different types of edits applied to it. This is what I'm going with, and I'll just be like, all right, let's move on. You'll kind of just figure out where that line is in terms of like how much you edit something. Like generally I find that to be true. I'll just kind of dive into the edits, mess around with stuff, look at stuff differently, play around with shit, and then at a certain point I'll just be like, all right, now I'm just making like the most minuscule changes and it's just the same. So at that point it's a good stopping place. Man, the blue sky in this really kind of takes over, doesn't it? It's kind of a little distracting, if I say so myself. I don't really, but I mean, I don't know. I think this is like his best. This might be the best we can do for now. You can see there I brought back down the top end of that because look at the roof and the siding of the house, right? It gets overexposed pretty fucking quickly. I want to keep detail to that, so I'm not going to bring that up at all on the top end of our curves here. Man. This one is difficult, guys. This one is difficult. I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not really sure where to take it. I want this thing to be dark around its edges, and bright kind of in the middle. But that can get, messing around with this stuff can be difficult. That could be a good spot to stop right here. I mean, honestly, I thought this would turn out a little bit better, but it's okay. I think it's okay. We'll stop there on the curves. Saturation, again, we'll bring it up to 10. I'm going to go all the way to 10, but with this, I don't want these blues, man. These blues are way too, like, the blues and the cyans are way too much. I don't want these saturated at all. In fact, I might bring them even more negative because they're just too bold. They're kind of like taking over the middle of the photo there. That looks a lot better, actually. See that? So no edit. I mean, you can't really tell, but I think that looks more natural for some reason. I think that looks better. I might bring down the blues even more. If you bring them down enough, though, they will start to turn gray. If you bring down the saturation on something enough, it'll start to turn like grayish black. And it won't look good at all. So, everything in moderation, right? Okay, so that's done with that. I'd say making good pace here. That looks pretty good. Man, that saturation really brought up the side paneling on the house. Looks like bright red now. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, we're nearing the end here, guys. We are nearing the end. Thank you for sticking with me. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. All of you that tune in here. I do have fun making these. It's been a good time just kind of messing around on here and adding commentary to the photos and such. And I think this is kind of just a really I enjoy like the documentation process of all this too. I think about a lot of times I'll think about how it'll be cool one day in the future, way in the future maybe, to look back on these and stuff, and it'll be cool to like see this stuff on video, like exactly where I was and where I went, and my thought process during like the editing and all that. So I think it's just kind of a cool way, like this format is a cool way to document things. So a little aside, I guess. Okay, we're in Lightroom Classic now. We're going to bring up the temperature to yellow. Bring up the yellows. Man, that tree is going crazy. And yeah, you can tell that I added a lot of contrast in this. The before and after of this will likely be pretty substantial in terms of the edits made, which is okay. Some photos require more than others, and that's just is what it is. But I don't, again, I don't want to go insane with it all. I want these to look natural as well, just with a little bit of pop. I like my edits just to kind of bring you in a little bit more, kind of, just look at it. Stuff is just brighter, I guess. Usually unedited photos and raw photos are just, they can be very kind of blank slate-ish, like there's no depth to them. I mean, there can be, but a lot of the times I'll just look at like a raw photo and, it's just kind of dull. It's just dull. That's a good word for it. Like unedited photos are just kind of dull to me. Kind of like a unseasoned steak. You got to put some seasoning on that, man. You got to spice it up. At least a little. Why not? Why not? So we brought up Jesus. I'm gonna brain fart. Brought up the yellows. Brought up the clarity to 2, which is per our standard here. Now, that's what I was gonna do. Vignette my ass off here. If you guys don't know what a vignette is, it is exactly what I'm doing. Basically, where the outside edges of a photograph or image are darkened or shadowed, and then the center of the photograph or image is bright. So it's kind of like almost like a tunnel type of deal. If you can kind of picture that in your mind, I guess if you're just listening to this, if you can't see what I'm doing, basically it's just, it's darker edges and sides of an image, and a brighter center. So it kind of essentially it's just a tool for bringing focus to the center of the image, or adding depth to the photo, which is good. I mean, you don't want to have, if you see an opportunity to do this type of thing, or you think it would work well, definitely try it. This is a very well-known kind of editing tool or feature I guess. I know even there's certain cameras that like specifically take these types of photos as well, like vignette type photos. Yeah, try it out. I mean, it's a useful little editing kind of function. It can it can kind of bring more attention to the center, and obviously if you have a subject right in the center of your photo, it's a useful little overlay to do here. So you can see here with me kind of flicking the edit on and off, and I'll go really dark so you guys can see there the outline of our mask. But if I bring it back up to a reasonable level, like -50, you can see that, it's subtle. It just looks like a kind of a surrounding shadow of the photo, which is pretty damn cool. But again, if you're working with a lot of blue sky, actually I won't say that. It can work with blue sky. It can work with blue sky, clear blue sky. You just have to be careful, because if you have clear sky and you're doing a lot of like masking edits, there's different types of edits to avoid this, but if you're doing like masking edits like you're seeing me doing here, clear blue sky, you can actually, if you zoom in enough, you can actually see like strike throughs. I don't even know what to call them, but you can see the gradient of your filter, which you don't want. Like you can basically see the mask like in the sky. Like it makes like exposure lines, like kind of cuts. Because if you think about like the color, like the pixels of color when it's just blue sky, there's not a lot there, right? There's not a lot there. Whatever edits you do to a sky, you can very easily make your editing visible. Like, if that makes any sense. Like, you can very easily make your edits look like edits. Like, it can, if that makes any sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but editing blue sky is extremely difficult. I know there's specific editing, like photo editing tools, and maybe different like programs or layering that you can do with like other imagery as well to kind of avoid that type of thing. But I know that with what I'm talking about, I mean, I've tried to do this many, many, many times, and I've edited skies a lot before. So with what I'm talking about, like basically the edits, like the mask itself becomes visible against the sky. It kind of like, it creates cut exposure lines that you don't want. It doesn't look good. So just keep that in mind, I guess. But I think this is done, guys. I've done enough with this. I've done enough. We're going to save this bad boy. Actually, before I do, blue primary. Do I want to bring this down? Yeah, that's gonna be helpful. So you guys can see here, with editing specifically the blue primary color of the waveband, of the color waveband here, I'm trying to bring down the saturation again to dull the sky. I want to dull the blue color of the sky, because I want the yellows and the reds to be kind of the main colors of the photo that are popping out at you, not the sky. So what I'm doing here is bringing down the saturation. But you can see when I did that in first place, and this kind of proves my thesis correct, that this sky is so bold I should say the color coming from the sky is so bold in this photo that if I bring down the saturation all the way in this kind of slider bar here, it actually dulls the entire photograph. And you can obviously see that. You'd have to be blind not to see that. Like, it dulls the entire photo, which tells me that the blue primary color coming from the sky is dominating a lot of the color grading within this photo, which I do not want. I do not want that. So I'm definitely not going to bring it down that much, but I'm going to bring it down regardless. I'm going to bring it down a touch. It's just too much. Way, way too much. And sure, that may dull the overall color scheme of the photo a little bit overall, but it's going to bring back that color of the sky a lot, and that's what I want. And I want to see what this looks like if I brought out the red saturation. Might be a little bit too overboard. See, now I'm just messing around with colors. I'm done with this photo, guys. Stick with me here. If you haven't clicked off yet, just stick with me here. I am done, I swear. I'll give the wrap out talk here in like 30 seconds. Just got to save this down. I just want to see what this looks like. Yeah, I'm going to do like 3. Fuck it. Okay. I think we're good. We're good. Yeah, that's done. That is done. We're done. If you made it this far, you're a legend. Legend in the making. Hope you guys enjoyed, guys. Or I just said guys. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm pretty tired now. After I do these, I'm pretty wiped, and I also have to eat dinner tonight still. So, is what it is, man. Is what it is. Gotta get this in. I gotta get this in and out to you guys. Gotta publish this up. Honestly, I think like filming and doing all of the editing part might be the most difficult of like the whole process. Like actually going out in the field and like taking all of that video in the field, it's not too hard. Like, and it's, I would say, a little bit more exciting. Like there's more going on. So, whatever. Okay. Let's look at the before and the after. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, guys. I'm losing it. All right. Hang on. Ugh, my cat was making some weird noises. Okay. Before. After. So that's pretty significant. That's some pretty significant editing. Yeah. Honestly, I think that turned out pretty damn good, though. That turned out pretty good. Like, it may look a little bit blurry to you guys on this screen here, but I promise you it's not. Like you can see there, like there's good clear sharpness to this image. So there's that guy. We'll get a full screen of that other one quick too, just so you guys can see. Nice and full screen here. Boom. Pretty nice, eh? So that'll do it. Let's hop off. Boom. All right. You guys made it. I got about an hour on this recording here. So It makes sense. I think I figured out that like the majority of photos that I'll edit take around about a half hour. I haven't had one take much more than that for a while here, so interesting. But I guess that's just my pace. So yeah, that'll do it. Man, I gotta pee, so I'm gonna wrap this out. Not much else to say. So that was a really good photo shoot, though. I had a lot of fun on that one. A lot of fun, and I got a ton more pictures on that shoot, like of just like bangers. And, I mean, you guys saw at the beginning there. You guys can scroll back and look if you want, but ton of photos on that shoot. It was amazing. That was a really good one. So very happy about that. And of course, I'll be going back over other photos that I find throughout these shoots, looking at them, editing them, posting them up. Once I can find the time to do all that, I'll probably do more of that in December. But that's a little bit far away from now. So yes, that'll do it. We're coming up on episode number 10 pretty soon here, so rolling through. But fall is we are in full swing, 100%. So definitely in the groove of things. Getting some good shots as I'm walking around out here. So I hope you guys are getting outside too. Go on a hike. Go walk in the woods. Do all that good stuff. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.